Welcome. You are listening to the Be a Better Being podcast hosted by Michelle Zellner and Sasha Berscheid. Michelle and Sasha are here to give you information and inspiration to help you live your healthiest, happiest lives. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
Greetings, Better Beings. Thank you for hopping into the Be a Better Being podcast. I'm Michelle Zellner, your host, and today I have a really unique guest. We're going to dive into some content that I'm pretty sure, have not yet heard on this show. So I'm really delighted to introduce Mikhael Porter. Welcome to the show, Mikhael. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk today.
Well, I, did a little background research on you, so I have a tiny bit of familiarity with you. And from what I can gather, you are a very ambitious young man, and I would also say adventurous. So let us get a little background information. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you've done up until this point, and then we're going to really dig into some really cool stuff that you have been doing recently.
Yeah, so I grew up on either coast of the US. I was born in Miami, but raised in San Francisco, had a parent in each place, still do have parents in each place. So I've always been back and forth my whole life. Went to school in Colorado and have graduated about 10 years ago now, which is crazy to say. And since that time, I've had my hand in a few different entrepreneurial endeavors from real estate to tequila and mezcal company that I had a hand in starting. And then for the last few years, I've been building Needle Music with two incredible co-founders, and it's been the joy and pinnacle of my work life thus far, for sure.
Wow, that is fascinating. So there's a whole bunch I want to dissect there before we really do talk about Needle. I mean, being bi-coastal, right? What is that like? Especially kind of growing up that way. I know maybe a lot of adults have that kind of existence, maybe by choice, maybe just circumstance. But as a kid growing up, what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's normal or was normal for me just because it was all I knew. But looking back, it definitely was a bit abnormal. I was on a plane 6, 7, 8 times a year, going from coast to coast, spending some time with each parent. But I think it just really gave me a great appreciation for new places, new experiences. And, I live in Miami, which is where I was born. And then I grew up in San Francisco, which up until recently, there was very, very little crossover between those two cities. And they're very different and unique communities and environments. So I'm just grateful that I got to see two very different communities, and that helped shape me. With you have the glitz and glamour of Miami, and then you have kind of more the earthiness and progressiveness of the West Coast. So I took the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
I love that. And then you landed not quite in the middle, but in Colorado for college. So I'm also a CU grad. I got my master's degree way, way, way before you were even there for your undergrad. But
Oh,
yay,
no way. Go Buffs. I
I
love
know,
that.
right? Gosh, they sure do need to go.
Yeah. But no, totally. It was incredible. Really, first and foremost, the people that I met there. Boulder is an incredible little jewel in the state of Colorado, and met some lifelong friends. And actually, I was just at a wedding for one of my former roommates last weekend. So that was great. But even more than that, I got to fall back in love with skiing in the mountains. So that was certainly a draw as to why I spent my college years there.
That's excellent. I love that. And those college relationships, man, they're interesting ones, right? Because when you're in it, you feel like, oh, I will never, ever not be friends with these people. And I've been out of college for a long, long time. And I have two friends that I met in college that we are still thick as thieves. We just celebrated 30 years of friendship. And I think that's pretty rare in general. But how about you as a guy? Like, how do you maintain those friendships that you were just at a wedding with one of them? So,
Yeah, luckily it's easy for me. I mean, I've always been told by my family and, kind of pessimists in my life that, your friends change and, you know, focus on yourself and things of that nature. But I've always considered my friends to be my family. And so I have very, very deep bonds with friends from childhood through high school, through now college and, post college. And while they do evolve, they definitely don't fade. And so, I mean, our group chat of, our college roommates is still going on every day. And one of the main reasons that we stay so connected is through music, which was a big part of our inspiration for starting this platform was it's such a powerful medium to connect with others through, whether, old relationships or new. So yeah, our friendship and our group is as strong as ever. And, we're only 8, 10 years out of it right now, but I'll let you know in 20 years if we're still going strong in the group chat.
Perfect. I love it. Well, and also what we have today that I didn't have back then is the ability to stay connected a lot easier through social media and, just technology in general. I've been able to reconnect with some college friends, which has been amazing. I had one of them on the podcast, Danny Katoa, and that was just fabulous. And I mean, the only reason we could do that is because of technology. So certainly those advances have made things easier, but it still takes dedicated intentional effort, right? Because life gets very full and very busy, and as everybody transitions to different phases of life, your priorities change, and sometimes your friendships are just not a priority. Doesn't mean that you
Yeah.
don't enjoy those people anymore. You just only have so much resources, right, to devote. And so I love the idea of keeping those bonds strong. And I'm going to guess that a little bit of that innate ability in you is because you were hopping around a lot,
Mhm.
right? And you
Yeah.
had to have a sense of community, and that means you had to actually physically create it.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I actually did a year at boarding school for a post grad year to play basketball in the Berkshires, so in the Northeast. And a lot of those friends of mine in that community has transitioned to being in New York City. So whether it's in San Francisco, LA, New York, Miami, I had a really strong hub and community of really lifelong and deep friendships in all those places, which to me seems normal. To people I talk to, they think it's a little unique, but just really grateful. And friendship has kind of been the fabric of my life, so that's one of the reasons I'm so inspired and excited about what we're doing at Needle, because we're really just using music as a means to create or strengthen friendships.
I love it. Yes. So let us talk about Needle because it is super cool. I downloaded the app. I've been kind of playing around with it. Tell everybody exactly what it is and how you even came to found it.
Yeah, so as it stands, Needle is a way to connect with your friends, old, new, your favorite influencers, favorite artists, or people who just share the same music taste as you through music. So there's lots of social medias out there, whether it's photos, blog posts, mood boards, Twitter, all these mediums, but there's no social media dedicated to the medium of music, with music being at the forefront of that. So we initially created Needle as an easier way to find and share music through each other, because we were tired of texting song links to each other or texting playlists and then not knowing if the person that you sent the music to ever actually engaged with that song or ever actually liked that song, or then ended up posting it to their playlist and things of that nature. So we wanted to create a more transparent, a more dynamic, and just an easier, more fun way to find and share music. And then where it's evolved to is through our user base, they've told us that their favorite part of the app is connecting with other real human beings based on a shared love and interest of music. So, right now, as it stands, the main way to find music and engage with music on the streaming services is through playlists and algorithms, where we're just bringing that personalization, that human touch back to music discovery and curation, which just leads to deeper connections at the end of the day.
That is so amazing. I love it. I mean, anybody's listened to this show, the whole point to be a better being is to do things that actually help you connect to real human beings. And I certainly, have a love of music and I hear a song and I immediately think about someone or an experience or a concert that we were at. I had a funny text exchange with somebody who was coming down from the mountains a couple weeks ago and he was texting me, "Are you, did you make it back?" And I said, "Yep, driving past Skid Row right now because unfortunately we have one of those in Denver."
Gee.
And his response was 18 and life to go. And I mean, I've known this guy for like 3 hours. Like that's the only connection we've ever had was this interaction when I was hiking. And one of my favorite memories is a Skid Row concert that I was at Aloha Tower Marketplace when I went to school at the University of Hawaii. It was pouring rain. We were drenched. There was this group of us. We just had a ton of fun. And just that interaction based on that song and that band, it just brought me so much joy, right? To have a memory that was so great. Now, sometimes you hear songs, you think about songs, and it stirs up memories that aren't great. But that is the language of music, right? And that is how we connect through those different things.
Yeah, I
How
mean, whether happy or sad, music is certainly always there, and it's just, such a powerful medium to connect with others in the real world, but there's no digital space to facilitate connections of people through music. So really, we're just trying to replicate and provide a safe ecosystem and digital platform to allow the same type of interactions that are happening in the real world to happen online.
I love it. And so when you say we, let's talk a little bit about who that is and when and how did this all become a thing?
Yeah, so I have two incredible co-founders, Shane Ertz and Wyatt Keith, and then we have a team of advisors and engineers and head of partnerships and things of that nature that we've brought in over the last year plus. But we really created this in the early days of the pandemic. So I mean, we've been ideating this for over 2 years, but we've only been in our beta for about 11 months now. But yeah, I mean, it was April of 2020 when this idea first popped into my head, and I think everyone's had an idea of like, why isn't there a more social music platform? But it really just reached a point of, okay, there's a reset going on worldwide right now. I had the ability to take a step back from my day to day and say, what is it that I'm truly passionate about, that I truly love, and that I want as a consumer in this world? And it was a more easy, streamlined, and social music platform and experience to be able to connect with my friends around the world, because I have, as we mentioned, so many pockets of friends in different places, and I never knew what song they were listening to. So I would spend a weekend with them and I'd get 20 new songs that I loved, and then it would just drop off and I'd have to wait until I was with them again. Or, maybe they'd post an Instagram story of a screenshot of a song, but there was just no native and just fun way to mimic that experience of being with someone and sharing songs together. So it's certainly evolved into much more than that, but we've been quietly building this product for a few years, and it's been incredible to see the traction that we've gotten, and more importantly, just the feedback and sentiment from our users of this being their favorite app, it being the only positive social media in their lives, because you gain intrinsic value from finding your next favorite song that you may not get from looking at an Instagram model's post. So there's just so many different ways and kind of layers of value that we've been able to extract for our users. But moving forward, what we're most focused on, and based on the feedback from our users, is really just focusing on facilitating connections of people through music.
I love it. It's like it's the modern version of the mixtape, right? So in
Yeah.
my day, you met somebody and you had a connection and you're like, oh, I want to make you this mixtape because I have all these songs that I think you would really like. And you made this mixtape, and even some of it was, I'm going to listen to the radio and wait for that song to come on. And then I'm going to push the record button. So it
Wow.
plays through the radio. I know you're like,
That's incredible.
I know, right? Yeah. No, there's plenty of people who are listening. They're like, oh, yeah, I know the mixtape. I got the mixtape. And then, we made the CD compilation. But it's fascinating. So for some of us who maybe are not super like technologically intelligent, you get on the app and you just search for songs that you like. You search for people who also like songs that you like, or what are the ins and outs of how that works?
Yeah, so right now we're still in our beta, so we're fully integrated with Spotify. So if you have a Spotify premium account, you can listen to full songs on the app. You can pretty much do everything on Needle that you can do on Spotify, but then there's that added social layer. So even if you're not a Spotify premium user, if you're an Apple Music user, Deezer, SoundCloud, what have you, you still get a great experience. You just listen to 30-second previews of those songs right now. We will integrate with them in the future to mimic the same Spotify experience. But yeah, to your point, there's a song of the day feed, which is what we kind of like to fashion as a radio station curated by your friends, where every day you can post one song to the feed to kind of showcase your mood of the day or what song you're listening to, or your new favorite song. So that's a really easy passive listening experience where you can find new users, new songs, etc. We also have a trending songs list that shows the top songs on the app over a 3-day rolling basis. So you're seeing songs trend on Needle months, weeks, days before they trend on Billboard, especially on that underground level. So we have artists that have been mainstays on our app that are only now getting traction in the mainstays of the Billboard and kind of the mainstream media. But Some other pillars of our product are a group messaging and messaging feature. So people kind of fashion this as a Discord for music. We have artists that are using group chats to interact with their fans and natively share music, get inspired. What song should I play in my next set? Things of that nature. We have groups based on location, based on genre. It's really exciting to see people kind of interact through their shared, love and taste of music that way. And then we have a profile page, which is a more kind of cohesive and expansive reflection of your music. So you have your songs in rotation that are songs that you're listening to that you found on the app and you can easily add. You have playlists that you can feature. And then we have musical moments that showcase videos and photos that you want to put of yourself or others that kind of reflect something fun about your music taste or a fun music experience that you've had. So just bringing intimacy back to music. And, we call it your audio biography, but it's just been incredible to see people forge new friendships. We have people that are dating from, getting to know each other's music taste on the app. So we're just scratching the surface in terms of what we can do to fortify relationships through music.
Well, musical preferences can certainly be a deal breaker when it comes to relationships. So,
Deal
you know,
maker or a deal breaker. Yeah, for sure.
right, yeah. And so let's say like I know, and I'm just throwing this out there, this isn't necessarily true, but I know I don't like country. So is there a way to like filter so that you don't get these, hey, I love this song when you know you are not going to listen to it?
Yeah, so we have a filter on our song of the day feed where not only can you filter by genre, to your point. So yesterday I was in a rap and electronic music mood as I was working. So you can filter it by multiple genres, just one. And then we also are creating genres that are more unique to Needle's ecosystem. So thus far, we have a filter for your favorite users. So you can favorite people that you like their music taste and different curators on the app. And then we also have a filter for our verified curators. So I think we have going on 60 plus now verified curators, which are either existing artists and celebrities that are on the platform or our top users. So we have a point system, which is really cool and people love, which is a reflection of the engagement you get on your profile. So if Michelle, you post a song and then 5 people end up listening and liking that song, and then 2 people end up reposting that song to their profile, and then there's a trickle down effect of people engaging with that music that they found through you, you get credited and you get points. And so our community can see how good of a music curator and how engaged of a music consumer you are. So that's exciting. And we're bringing real world value to those points. So you can transact in different ways with that point score. But then that also serves as a threshold to become a verified curator and get that blue check on our app. So yeah, it's great. We have curators to, as you mentioned, in different genres. So whether it's country, electronic, rap, we have different people that are curators of different music.
I'm getting so much joy seeing the and hearing the passion coming from you on this project. It is clearly something that really lives deep in your soul. I mean, how in general did has music played a role in your life, and when did that start really?
Yeah, I mean, one of my earliest memories is my mom having some of my soccer parent friends over to her house for a party. I think I was 6 years old, and I was on the kind of speaker system helping DJ and put CDs in. And I specifically remember the song Smooth by Santana coming on and everyone going absolutely nuts and us running around in our soccer socks and sliding on the wooden floor. And it just kind of had a light bulb moment for me. Like, wow, music can bring so much joy to so many people and can bring together different groups of people. And one good song can bring, you know, people together that maybe don't see eye to eye. So, that evolved through the course of my life with, taking long bus rides to school and being really locked in on music and kind of whether it was getting me through good times, bad times, serving as, motivation before a sports game, things of that nature. Obviously, it evolved in college years to being more around socializing and partying, but it's just a connector. It's the ultimate connector, and it's the only real universal language where, you go to countries that don't speak a lick of English, but they'll be singing words of, 80s rock songs in English. So it just has always been a passion and focus of my life. And it really is just the convergence of the two pillars of my life, which is friends and music. And what's so fortuitous and lucky is that the industries are also now converging, where you see social media and streaming services becoming more unified and slowly becoming one, where you now have TikTok, which was not made with music at its forefront per se, or was not made for music curation and discovery. It was made more for short form videos, but music is the backbone of that product. So we thought that, as streaming is becoming more social, why is there not a native social media for music?
I love it. Well, now there is, and that is what is
Now there
so
is.
great about it, right? And what about the artist? So how do they get to be part of Needle? And is it just the big names? I mean, I have a band I have loved forever, the Nadas. Anybody who knows me knows I talk about the Nadas. And if anyone's from Iowa, I always ask, do you know the Nadas? And 9 times out of 10, they do. And I would hear like songs be played on KBCO here in Boulder. And I'm like, that's such a dumb song. The Nadas need to be played, right? Like, so when I'm passionate about a band that I love, but they didn't make it gigantically big, and yet I know so many other people would love this. Like, how does the artist interact? How do what level
Yeah.
of exposure does an artist have to even be on your platform?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's the beauty of Needle, is we think that you should be able to influence your fans, your friends, or people that you don't know through music, right? There's so many social medias where you can kind of connect and curate and influence people outside of music through photos, through opines, et cetera, et cetera. So we are now allowing artists, whether it's just trying to showcase what music they're inspired by, because artists are music fans and lovers first, or whether it's artists that have now signed an up and coming, artist to their label, and they want to showcase and spotlight them. So there's now a platform where they can curate and influence their fans through the medium that we love them in the first place through, which is music. But yeah, you don't have to be any level of artist to be on our app. We have artists that have, zero streams, or artists that have millions of streams on our platform. We just got Fisher, Chris Lake, some big EDM DJs on the app. But then we also have, friends of mine who are aspiring artists who have, under 1,000 streams on Spotify, that are, kind of influencing and promoting and curating their music and others through the app. And, there's many artists or aspiring artists that have bigger followings on Needle already than they do on even their social medias. So we've done some fun kind of use cases and tests with artists, promoting their songs on the app and seeing just like the effect that it has on our grassroots community. So there's so much that we can do in the future to help promote indie artists, but also just allow existing artists and celebrities to leverage their fan base through music curation and connect with them through music curation.
That's so cool. And so the people you're in cahoots with for this platform, this project, how do you all work together? Because I always think that's fascinating, right? When we're collaborating with people and we all these ideas and we come together to make it amazing. What is the dynamic like? And are these college friends, or where did these other people come from that you work with on this?
Yeah, so Wyatt and I actually were randomly paired as roommates at boarding school in 2011, 2010. And we had stayed close friends ever since. He played college lacrosse and was in the tech industry, and then got into the DJ management industry. And he's been DJing himself pretty much since the time I left him. We went to Ultra together for the first time in 2010 and got really into EDM together. And he's taken that and run with it. And now he's a very well known and successful DJ in the New York industry and scene. So he's been a longtime friend of mine. I'm very close with him and his family. And it was actually at his house that we all came together and first decided to attack this project and make it a reality. And then Shane, so Wyatt's our chief marketing officer, chief music officer per se. And then Shane, who's running our product, has been in tech for pretty much his whole life since graduating in different industries. He's from the Bay Area, and I went to college with him. So Shane and Wyatt didn't know each other very much. I think they had met one time at a birthday of mine 5 or 6 years ago, but we each had this idea on our own. And so I was kind of workshopping this idea with each of them individually. And then I decided to bring us all together for a weekend to workshop this and decide if we wanted to make this a reality. And ever since then, it's just been up and onwards. So it's been incredible to, bring them together. And that's right. A microcosm of my life is bringing people together through music. So that was just another time I was able to do that in the spirit of wanting to do it on a bigger scale through Needle. So it's been incredible. They're now like best friends, and they hang out without me. So I'm not jealous. I'm just excited about it. But yeah.
That is fantastic. I love to see this. I think I started off by saying you're very adventurous and certainly ambitious. Where did that come from? Like growing up, were your parents entrepreneurs? Did they just like let you take an idea and run with it, or just what helped shape you into this go-getter that you are?
Yeah, so I'm blessed to have incredible role models around me. My grandpa on my mom's side was an incredible entrepreneur and is still kind of the inspiration for everything I do. He grew up in the Great Depression, was, selling chestnuts on the street at 8 years old to help give money to his mother. And, he fought in World War II. And then he just kind of meandered his way through different businesses to ending up starting colleges, which is wild in today's day and age. It's like, how do you just start a college? But yeah, over the course of his life, he started, I think, 7 or 8 universities across the country, the last of which was called International Fine Arts College in Miami. That was acquired by the Art Institute in the early 2000s. So he was just a central figure in our family. He was the main provider and just the main leader in our family for so many years, and did it with such grace and class and humility. So from an early age, he was certainly a role model and kind of my North Star for what I wanted my life to look like. And then on the other side, my dad is an immigrant, having grown up actually in Ethiopia and Europe, and then moving to the United States in the mid to late 80s, where he met my mom. And he came to the US with nothing and has created an incredible life for himself being an entrepreneur. And he has, QSR restaurant chain here in Miami called Chicken Kitchen with 25 locations now. So I have great examples of entrepreneurs and fierce leaders that have been through many more adversities than I have, but just showing that, passion, grit, and perseverance are the key qualities that will get you through and be able to realize your dreams. And if you, as my grandpa used to say, whatever the mind of man can conceive, he can achieve if he truly believes. So I've taken that with me through my whole life, and I've always known that I wasn't going to be a 9 to 5 guy. So I'm very fortunate to be able to pursue my dreams, but I'm working hard every day. And I've been doing this without getting paid for multiple years, just at because we're so inspired and we believe so much in this vision to create a more connected landscape through music.
That is beautiful. And I think that is a great way to wrap this conversation up. Before we officially close out, is there anything else that people should know? Of course, we'll put all the links to make sure people know how to download the app and any information to contact you. Anything that we missed that you want to make sure our audience knows?
Just find your next favorite song through your next favorite friend. That's it. It's a fun, easy way. It'll bring joy to your life. In the world of social media that unfortunately has so many adverse effects, this is a social media focused strictly on positivity and just bringing intrinsic value to our users. So excited to hear your music and everyone else's here soon.
Well, thank you so much. This really has been a delightful conversation. I'm pretty sure I have not stopped smiling through the whole thing. So I know I'm energized and inspired to like dig out all my good music and start playing around with it and to be more of a connector. That's actually been something I'm working on because I'm an introvert. But for the last few years, I've tried to be more intentional about being the connector. And certainly that's super easy to do it with music. And so I'm
Yeah.
excited to explore the platforms. Thank you for the passion and for putting something out there for all of us to use. And everybody, I know you've been listening. I hope you have gotten as much joy and inspiration out of this conversation as I have. And of course, you know that now it is your time to go and be a better being.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Being podcast. Mikhael and Sasha hope that what you heard today inspires you to embrace this journey of life with an open mind, a kind heart, and a willingness to learn and evolve. If you enjoyed the content, please help spread their message by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. If you have a show topic idea or would like to be a guest, please visit betterbeings.net and fill out a contact form. Until next time, go and be a better being.